place, because when I got into all of this, it was also through kind of researching about secret societies and banking and false flag conspiracies and these kind of things. And that has led me into some of the deeper, let's say, more spiritual conspiracies. Along the way, both of us, I guess, learned about flat Earth and the globe lie as well. Waiting, observing, seeing people who have had near-death experiences, intuiting my own thoughts about what may or may not happen after death, reading the holy books of different religions and pondering what this all means, to wonder about certain things, namely whether this reality is the only one, whether God, quote unquote, is wholly benevolent, and whether there may be something below that is ruling this place, which is similar to, say, what like the Bible says, that there is God, an omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, creative force, but then that this God created this alternative force just below him, this evil version, Lucifer or Satan, the devil, and this demigod is then blamed for a whole bunch of things that are present in this reality, negative things. And I wonder, why are they present at all? What reason is there for all the negativity that exists in the world? If you could create anything at all, you're God, all-powerful, able to create heaven, able to create perfect beings, why would you create anything less? What is this place? Who are we? Why are we here? Why is this place created? So I've got a lot of these questions about the creator and my place in the creation that none of the current religions have really satisfied.
Right. Yeah, I've got those same questions. Most people that you encounter in your regular daily life are just wandering around as if they know exactly who they are, what they're doing here. It's either that or they just don't think to ask these big questions. And that amazes me, how somebody cannot ask the biggest questions that a human ever can. Who am I? How did I get here? What am I doing here? What's the point of it all? What created this realm? And where am I going when it's all done? And you absolutely nailed it in that short video you put out recently titled You Know Nothing. And you used the metaphor of the boat. A bunch of people are out at sea on a boat. None of them know how they got there. They just woke up one day, they're on the boat. All you can see around you is open ocean. There's no sign of land. Nobody knows where the boat is headed. Nobody knows who built the boat. That is a perfect metaphor for the conditions in which we find ourselves. And how can anyone not question what all that is about? I've got three sort of overriding questions, Eric. And you're probably aware that I put out a video the other week titled, Is God Really Good? People don't like to hear these questions asked. So I just want to recap on what those three big questions were, and then I'd love to get your take on it, although I suspect you've got the same questions as me because you just touched on one of them there. So the first one is, why is there a direct, observable correlation between the amount of good work that you try and put into the world, the amount of help that you try and offer to others, the amount of service that you try to put into creation, to the rest of humanity, and the amount of suffering and hardship that you will reap as a result? So you can use the scientific method on this one. It's observable, it's testable, it's repeatable. Try it. Anyone out there, try doing good work, helping others, doing what you know to be right, putting others before yourself, selflessly being in service to creation, and see what happens to you. I think you will find that you reap a whole load of shit in your life as a result. Suffering, hardships, obstacles. Everyone I know in my personal circle of contacts and friends is going through hardship of that nature right now. And, they're generally good people that try and do the right thing. So that's question number one. If we have a loving, benevolent God, if that's what it is, Why are good people made to suffer so much? Question number 2, which I've heard you raise before as well, is if we have a loving, benevolent God who, as you say, could have created anything that it wanted, any kind of conditions, why is the natural world, the animal kingdom, so brutal and horrific? Why is it necessary for billions of living sentient creatures to have to murder each other in absolutely horrific ways just to survive another day themselves in the food chain that we have? So those are the two main questions. And then there's another one which piles on top of that. If we are living in a realm which has been somehow hijacked, subverted, steered off by some kind of demiurge, some kind of, lesser god, some sort of demonic entity, which took original creation, which the original creator, God, would have put into place and created a bastardized version of it. This gets into simulation theory and all sorts of other theories. Where was God when this happened?
Exactly. And so there's so many things like that, how there's predators and psychopaths and parasites and this food chain and just dying, aging, disease. There's so many things here that why did that have to be part of creation? And the only answer I ever get is, well, duality. You have to know, there has to be black for you to understand white and all this stuff. You don't have to have psychopaths in your reality. You don't have to have predators murdering each other, and you don't have to eat the life out of living beings just to survive in your realm, just so that we understand, what negativity is. Duality as a single answer doesn't cut it for the extreme amount of suffering that we see here. And I've also presented the idea that if you were to have, say, an hour of the best pleasure ever here, and then afterwards you had to be subjected to an hour of the worst physical torture here, would anybody actually take it? Because the pleasures, whatever you can think of that you could spend an hour pleasurably doing here on Earth, is not nearly as pleasurable as the pain that the most torturous thing that's possible here is. And so when you talk about duality, oh, well, you need to know the black to be able to appreciate the white, Eric. Well, why does the black have to be so pitch black? And why is the white only kind of off-white and not even that great? That's not the kind of duality I'm interested in. If anything, I would like it to be completely the opposite, where the suffering is so light that you feel, somebody cuts your arm or something. It's like, oh, okay, I won't do that again. Questions like this, and so we've been limited. We've been given this very limited spectrum of experiential possibility, and so much of it is negative. And that's absolutely my question. So that's kind of your second one there. Oh, and with that first one again, the reverse karma thing. It's, as I say, no good deed goes unpunished.
No good deed goes unpunished. Exactly.
It's a cliche. And so, which is it? Is karma a thing? Or is this reverse karma a thing? Because when you look at reality, usually the rich psychopaths, some of the worst people, the most selfish people, are having the best lives here.
And it seems to have been escalating in recent years as well. So, like I say, pretty much everyone I know, and I know a lot of people now, because I've done a lot of talks and I've done a lot of events and many conferences. I've met many, many people. Most of them, I would say, are generally good people who stand on the side of truth and freedom and justice and love, and yet they're all going through a whole load of crap. It might be financial problems, it might be relationship, family problems, it might be mental health, physical health, but everyone is going through something. What's that all about? And how can we have a realm which is so beautiful, but at the same time is full of so much pain, suffering, anguish, torment? And like we were saying, none of us really knows what we're doing here. None of us really know. And we have to be prepared to admit that we don't know. Just be mature about it, be grown up, be responsible, and just say, We don't know.
And most people take that stance as some kind of defeatist thing. Like, no, we can know more than that. Look at these holy books. Look at what these people believe. Whereas I see it as the only foundation we can really have is this kind of foundationless foundation. Like I said, adrift on a boat. We really don't know. Nobody remembers their birth before their birth and all their reincarnations and how this world came to be and how God created us and all these things. So everybody, it's a mystery to everybody. Everybody has these same questions. But I find it similar, say, to the globe Earth lie, is that when somebody like NASA comes around and gives you answers for every single question you could have about cosmology, and they say it with an authoritative tone, and every time you have a new question, they authoritatively come along and say, oh, well, it's blah, 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 blah. You just feel comforted and reassured, and you're like, yeah, I know what's going on here. Just trust NASA.